day, second day actually, we have a new president. If we are not united, if we are not united together, one hand, all of us Muslims, we're going to be in trouble for 4 years. Allah knows best for that. After that, we're going to have. So Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول, the first ayah, Surah Al-Ma'idah. Surah Al-Ma'idah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أوفوا بالعقود. Together. Allah promised us, He told us to be united. Allah ordered us in Surah Al-Imran to be united. Because if we are united, no one will never be defeated. If we are one hand together, working together, we are always on the safe side. And many ayat in the Quran, but Brother Muhammad now, he deals with the police, plus he dealing with Muslims and non-Muslims, schools and outside. So that's why this study is very important, Brother Muhammad, to speak about this more than any sheikh. Why? Sheikh can tell you halal haram, my job, halal haram. But him, he lived in a society, Muslim and non-Muslims. Brother Muhammad, this topic, Jazakallah khair, please, especially now when you are president, they were even panicking in the school, outside, even work.
Everywhere.
In fact, I was in the mall. I was in Apple store in the mall.
Oh yeah, I saw your
video. Imagine, go outside because my t-shirt Palestinian, go outside.
Yeah.
So if I have a community, everybody will run.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, believe it or not, only 2 people, non-Arab, told me, "Oh, you just heard, but you didn't anything," but barely to see that.
Yeah.
How gonna be like this, Brother Muhammad?
I think what the biggest thing that we're having, especially now, because like you said, there's a new president, and everybody believes that, I listen to people talk, Muslims, non-Muslims, that this is going to be the savior, or this guy's going to save us, or this guy's going to, and I always have to go back to and explain, especially to the Muslims, we're only going to be able to save ourselves if we help ourselves. If we can help ourselves, if we could take care of ourselves, if we can work together, if we can show love for one another, right? And show support for one another. And I think the one thing that we really lack in our ummah, and I think it stems from way back in the days, right? It's just from long time ago. Remember back in the days, we were one Muslim nation. Like we had one, one big landmass, and you can go cross the borders with no fences, we could just go wherever we wanted to go. Now, they divided us, right? They divided us.
After the Second World War.
After this, they started chopping pieces up. This is Morocco, this is Algeria, we started naming different countries, and what it did was it created this mindset in our own people that I can't help that guy because he's from Tunisia, and I can't help this guy because he's from Bangladesh. Like we divided ourselves. We let them divide ourselves mentally.
Mentally, I agree.
Like in our heads, we believe that we can't help that person because that person isn't from our people. He's not Palestinian, so I can't help him. He's not Lebanese, so I can't help him. He's not, and so we have to. I've been trying to push this on the kids, especially. Like throw all that away, because if you work with kids and you see kids, they don't see race, they don't see color, they don't see that stuff. That's that stuff is kind of like learned behaviors. We teach our kids these things. We teach our kids to like something. We teach our kids to hate something. We teach our kids this stuff.
You're right with that.
It's a learned behavior, right? It's not like one day these kids are just born and they just hate you, or they just it's like a learned behavior from the parents, from the community. So what I've been trying to instill in the kids, at least, when you go home, when you talk to your mom, when you talk to your dad, and if you do hear them saying these things, don't go to that person because they're from Syria and we don't like people from Syria. Or don't go to that person right there because they're from Saudi Arabia and we don't like Saudi Arabia. If you hear your parents saying these things, I said, your job as a Muslim son, as a Muslim daughter, is to say, Mom, that's haram. We cannot talk like this. We have to be one people, right? And it's an example of what happened to you. There's a power in numbers. So imagine if you were with 10 people, the 20 people, and they want to try to kick you out of a store for wearing a shirt. But then you had 10 other people or 20 other people wearing the same shirt as you were wearing. You think they're going to kick out 20 people?
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So there's strength in numbers, and people and the people realize, and I really want everybody to understand, we're stronger together, right? And they know that. That's why they say, and that's why they create this division. That's why they create this narrative that these people from here are different. These people from here are better. These people from here. But if I hear, and I hear it all the time on social media from non-Muslims who say things about Islam, about Muslims that I don't even hear a lot of Muslims saying, that these Muslim people are so educated. These Muslim brothers, they have that mindset of one person. These are non-Muslims that I hear these people talking on social media, on TikTok and Instagram. They're saying so many good things, positive things about Muslims and Islam, and then we don't even do it ourselves. We don't act the part, right? And so when you see these people, when you hear these parents, when you hear, I like when I go into a house to help a family, and where are you from? Why does that matter?
Yeah.
Why does that matter? I'm coming to help you. I'm coming to help your family. It doesn't matter where I'm from. I'm coming to make your family stronger. That's my job, right? And so I'm trying to support you. I'm trying to help you, and I'm not charging you anything. I'm doing it for free out of the love for my Muslims.
Ya Allah.
Right. And so the first question I get asked is, where are you from?
But don't just with this from, it's okay. But suppose I'm Palestinian, for example, Egyptian or Sudanese, regardless about nationality, have to be together.
And that's where you come into play, and you kind of explain to them, it doesn't matter where people come from. Where there's one Quran.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. There's one prophet, one Allah. Like we know this. We don't believe in the trinities or the 3 in 1 or praying to cows and camels. And no, we don't. We believe in one Allah. We believe in one prophet, and there's one Quran.
Yeah.
And so when we throw all that other stuff that these other people on top, the West has put in that mindset, they made us mentally separate from each other. Throw that out the window and understand that, show some support and show some love for one another because we're one Muslim.
Allah, you're right. In the masjid, one brother came from Morocco. My God, Morocco and Algeria on the border, and I was shocked. Why? Both of them, they pray in the masjid, and the one in Morocco, Algerian, bad, and this and that, and then second day, Algerian and Morocco speak the same thing. Same.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, it was Thursday, and Jum'ah, as far we are hating each other, we will never even get victory.
Yeah.
The reason in Palestine until now occupation 75 years, because we have 12 organizations in Palestine. 12 organizations.
And it's embarrassing. As a Muslim, you get embarrassed.
Exactly.
It's embarrassing to see that you need 12 separate organizations. You're one person.
Yeah.
You're one people, and I think what I try to explain to the youth is that, we have to break that mindset somewhere, right? The older generations, it's stuck.
Yeah.
It's stuck. It's khalas. You can't do this because you can't stay away. You have to stay away from this, or hang out with only these people, only talk to these people, only show love to, no. So you start it at the next generation. Right, even for myself and my generation, I still see people in my age group that still have that mindset of their parents or their parents' parents, that Palestinians are better than the Lebanese. Lebanese are better than the Jordanians. Jordanians are better than the Turk. No, come on. You have to understand something, guys. Right?
But honestly, the people of Gaza is the best.
Of course. But what I will say is this: I know I go to different institutions, right?
Yeah.
I go to different faith-based institutions. I go to churches, I go to temples, I go to synagogues, I go to masjids, and I see different things, and I talk to different people. And believe it or not, other people are doing that better than what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes. Yeah.
You go into these communities and they support each other. They'll buy from each other. They'll sell to each other. They'll take care of each other. And then for us, it's, I'm going to go down the street and get from that other person over there who happens to be not a non-Muslim, but it's $2 cheaper. So I'm going to go and buy his stuff. But hey, come on.
Yeah.
You know, and so you have to like really kind of be able to understand that spend the extra $2 and help your brother out.
But but Allah mentions that in the Quran, actually, many ayat in the Quran, especially Surah Al-Imran. Every khutbah Jum'ah, I start, Ya ayyuhal amanu taqullah haqqa tuqatih. The ayah after that, always in the Quran, I'm going to make tafsir every Saturday, Asbab al-Nuzul, the reason of revelation. The ayah after that, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Be united. Be united together and do not be divided. That's order from Allah.
Of course.
And what happened here? When this ayah revealed in Medina Munawwar, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, who's with him? People disbelieve in Allah and Jewish, majority Jewish. And before Rasulullah, there's a SunnahFollowers and everybody watching. Before Rasulullah came to Medina Munawwar, used to be a war, hundreds of years war between Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, two tribes. In Medina Munawwar, two tribes, Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj. Then Rasulullah came to Medina, become brothers and sisters and families. But always people try to do something in the community. Where? In the market. In the market, he came and he said, I'm going to mention names now because we have a new president. Yeah. Well, there's a group, he came to Al-Aws, you are victorious, you are strong. You did, and they went to Al-Aws, and then the other tribe, Al-Khazraj, same story.
Yeah.
And in the market, they always killed each other. They killed each other.
But that's how you divide. That's how you create division.
But
that's how you create division.
The key is Rasulullah came up.
Yeah.
And he said, well, number one, اتركوها إنها من تنة. Leave it is a stink. Discrimination each other.
Yeah.
White and black, this and that.
But that's how. But you have to remember, you know, there's books on this stuff. I mean, people can read all this stuff if they want to. It's not a secret. The best way you can control people is by dividing people.
Yes.
Okay.
Agree.
And there's 100 books about that, and anybody can look it up. Anybody can see anybody who has any kind of common sense,
vision,
can see that the best way that and the only way they can control us is by dividing us, black versus white, Arab versus non-Arab, Jew versus non-Jew. Like they will create that division for a sole purpose of being able to control. While we're out here fighting each other, the people on top are having a blast watching us.
Yes,
they're watching us like we're a show, right? And so when you're together, it's not fun for them to watch. When there's one ummah, when there's one people, when there's one love for each other, there's no fun in that. There's no money in that. You can't gain anything. They can't gain anything from us succeeding.
I love this statement here. Yes.
So what I try to explain to the kids is, you're the generation that's going to stop this. You're the generation that's going to be able to really, really change the way Muslims think.
Yes.
Right? Okay, we read the Quran, mashallah. Okay, we have kids that hafiz, mashallah. We have kids that understand the Quran. Great. But then on top of that, are you practicing what it says? Right? Even the parents who pay all this money to get their kids educated in the Quran, mashallah, I love it. Like, great. You spend thousands of dollars on your kids to learn the Quran, to recite the Quran, to memorize the Quran. But are you practicing these things at home?
Some people. I just had a class, a graduate Quran class, and all the family, the kids memorize the Quran. And the father and the mom, they make $1,000 to memorize the Quran. Then after they memorize one surah, big surah, imagine 13 years, more than half of the Quran memorized will be. The key, some people, the question here, you mentioned that beautifully. They try to divide us more and more and more, especially now. For example, Biden and Trump and what's her name, the other guy, believe it or not, every masjid
is divided.
On the podium. Biden, Trump, That is another problem. The other problem coming soon. Ramadan coming soon.
What time? When do we start fasting? What day do we start fasting?
But hold on. When Hajj time come, everybody agree.
Yeah. SubhanAllah.
That's why we are not united.
Yeah.
We're not one hand. But now in SunnahFollowers online, and listen to us, please, brothers and sisters. Yes, we are in small number, few hundred listen to us, maybe. Maybe us, a person among SunnahFollowers, social media, over listen to us. Maybe us, one person, regarding male or female, can change the community, change household, community to the nation. Let's speak now. We know the problems. And in fact, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first and last Hajj, only Hajj, Rasulullah. And not, before that, when Rasulullah, give me attention, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam conquered Mecca, when he conquered Mecca, and he destroyed 360 idols, زحق الحق, destroyed it. And then what? Who's with him? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar ibn Khattab, the greatest Sahaba with Rasulullah. And he chose what? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he chose Bilal in the top of the Kaaba, make Allah adhan, the first adhan. The give attention here. And he came down, Rasulullah, and Rasulullah, he opened the Kaaba, inside the Kaaba. Inside the Kaaba, Rasulullah choose who? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, or Umar, or Uthman, or Ali. He chose Bilal, the black one, while he was a slave. He chose a black to go pray together. Only both of them, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Bilal, the black.
Absolutely.
That's why. What is that? Why? To be, we are brothers and sisters supposed to be. For example, sorry to that.
No.
Recently, a person speak about a person. He claims he's a Muslim. He become Muslim, but we know he is. I don't know the person, but they said it's about his corrupted person. They said I heard. I don't know the person. But the key, they're making fight because of that person. Why? And when I call why? Because a lot of kids follow him. The kids have to learn.
Well, that's the parents' job. Right? Yeah? That's the parents. The parents need to tell the kids, hey, listen, that's the guy that you're following.
But also us as a da'iyah, so not to be fighting, killing myself for a person, and we know he's what that person is.
Yeah. And there's a lot. There's a lot of imams and sheikhs that are out there, especially on YouTube. Everybody's a sheikh now. Everybody's an imam. Everybody's a lecturer. Everybody's a dentist. Everybody's a doctor. So you see the power of the internet has on these kids, on the influential of these kids. And what I try to explain to the kids is don't listen to everything you hear. Don't listen to everything you see. And what I try to explain to them is that if you look at how reverts take Islam compared to the people that are born Muslims, if you just watch the love and the passion that they have for the religion, because they weren't, it wasn't given to them. They found it.
I agree.
Right. And so when you find something and you read about it and you see about it and you open up your heart to it and you open up your eyes to it, you actually read it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah. When I was in South Carolina, a lot of kids actually researched the Quran, they came to the masjid, become Muslims.
And that's the thing, right? We're given this to us. Like we're born in this, beautiful religion. We're born with it. We have our families. We speak the language, right? We speak the language of the Quran. We have, but we just don't know what it means.
So we use Prophet Mohammed, especially for our kids now. The parents, we know the parents, unfortunately, we are divided. But the kids mostly in public school, more than 90% public school.
The problem with public schools as well, it's not what we think it is, right? Public school, it's not math, science, English, reading. If it was just this, if it was just math, science, reading, and what they're supposed to learn, that would benefit them in the future, I would say, hey, go to school and learn. But there's so many different variables, right? That come into the education system, not just the bullying, not just the cyberbullying, not just the internet, but you can turn off the TV all you want. You can keep the phones away from your kids all you want. But when you go to a public school, your kids are still going to learn from what those other kids are seeing online.
I heard, by the way, I heard some states, they stop to have kids to have a cell phone
No, and there is,
I heard.
yeah, and that's
That's-
some of the schools, some of the states may have these new rules, but you're not going to be able to still control what they see at home,
yeah.
right? Because what they see at home, they're going to take it to school, and they're going to show their friends. They're going to talk about, oh, did you see this on TikTok? Oh, did you see this on Instagram? Or did you see? And they're going to talk to each other. And so if your kids aren't watching these things, and you're trying to, protect your kids from online influences, they're still going to go to the public school system and learn these things. So what I tell the kids, and this is what I tell the 8th graders that are about to go to high school, right? Because a lot of our 8th graders, they don't go to the Islamic high school. They go right to the public high schools. So they had 8 years in this Islamic school where it was like a nice, safe zone for the Muslims to be a Muslim, right? You're all going to a school with all the people of the same faith. Now you're going to go to a public school, and you're going to go out there, and you're going to see things that you haven't seen before. You're going to hear things you haven't heard before. How are you going to act? Are you going to get scared? Are you going to follow these people? Or are you going to be a leader and say, hey, look, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't talk like that. It depends on that kid's personality. And I always said, and I said this in a couple other videos before, that, the books and all the reading you could do will tell you after a kid hits a certain age, their personality is set, they can never change. That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. Any kid can change. Any person can change. Anybody can change whenever they want to change.
Yes.
Right. And I give myself as a prime example. When I go to the courthouse, I talk a certain way. When I work in the jails, I'll talk a certain different way. When I go home, I talk a certain different way. When I'm coaching the sport, I'm coaching a different way. We're talking a different way. Our personalities change according to the situation that we're in. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So when you go to a school and you're going to a public school, I tell the kids, what kind of personality are you going to have? Right. And I think for us Muslims, we're, and like I said, I heard other non-Muslims talk about Muslims. We have the strongest of the personalities. We're not supposed to be followers. We're not. Muslims are geared at the Quran, the Hadiths. Everything gears us towards leadership.
Absolutely.
Right. We're leaders. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. We are leaders. And I think that we lose that focus. We lose that mindset when we come to these westernized countries. We want to be like everybody else. We want to follow the trends. So it's cool to be different, but it's weak when you're the same.
But the Middle East is Muslim countries aren't the same. Muslim countries
are trying to be like the West.
Yes,
they're really trying really hard to be like everybody else. And so I keep trying to remind the kids, because a lot of kids when they go over, they go overseas for the summer.
Yeah,
a lot of them travel for the summer. They go whatever countries they're from. And they'll tell me, oh, we have, McDonald's over there, or they have Burger King over there, They have this, they have. And so I kind of get confused, and they're confused because they say, Brother Muhammad, you tell us that, we're supposed to be different than that. I said, well, why would you want to go to a McDonald's anyway? We have it here. Go to a shawarma shop, go to a falafel store, go to, go somewhere authentic.
I do that.
Right? That's what I do. That's what I do that. Like, why would I want to go to someplace that we have here? Right. So I always try to tell them, like, even talk to your parents that when you go back overseas, don't go to those franchises. Go to the mom and dad stores. Go support the local people that that could really use your money more than those people who are in the millions of dollars.
Brother, it's a very important point here. Yes.
And I'm not trying to knock anybody down who owns a franchise or mashallah, if you own franchises, go for it. Great. I'm proud of you. And may Allah bless you with more barakah. But I'm talking to the people that don't understand that, they're creating this division for a reason. If we're divided, we're not together, we're not strong. Right? So that's one of the things I tell these kids is when you go to a high school, a public high school, they have MSAs, they have different Muslim organizations over there in these schools now, right? Mashallah, a lot of our kids are becoming politically activated.
Yeah, see, mashallah. Our school here.
Yeah, mashallah, they're becoming very political. They're very, they're forming groups. I even told my daughter, go in there and support each other, figure things out with each other. Go talk to these girls, talk to these, and I tell the boys, go talk to the boys. Go talk to the Muslim boys. Go start a soccer team together. Go play soccer. I told my son the other day, let's get all the dads and all your friends, and one day we're gonna go play soccer together.
They do
it on Saturday. And so I just found out about this, and I said, okay, this is something cool.
Yeah,
we go and hang out with Muslims. We laugh with each other. We joke with each other. but we all have the same exact wants. We want our kids to grow up strong. We want our kids to be good with their deen. We want to be close to our Islam. We have to understand that we have to be together with everything. And so
we have to be united.
We have to be united. If we can't fix the parents, we start with the kids, right? And so what I've been trying to push on all these kids that I meet, even the older youth, the ones that I talk to in their 20s and 30s, and they come back and tell me, oh, I seen you 6 years ago, a different message. Oh, I saw you and I talked to you a long time ago, and I'm doing what you told me to do, and I don't remember half the time. You talk to so many people that you don't remember who you told what to, but that's the power of actually being real. When you're being real with people and you're not lying to people, you're always knowing, I probably said that. I that sounds like something I would say, because I'm not going to lie to somebody, right? And so there's a lot of kids that come back in 10 years from 5 years from when I spoke to them, and they'll say, well, I took your advice, brother, and it's working, and you're absolutely right. And, I'm changing my ways. I've done these changes. And some of the kids I've talked to in middle school that are in high school now, 2 years, 3 years in high school, and they see me at the events and they see me at the masjids. Brother, you're right. Everything that is happening that you told me was going to happen in high school is happening. There's so many fights. There's so much haram stuff. They're saying so many bad things. Everything you said when I was in 8th grade is happening now.
Yes, agree. But, very important, about the parents. For example, when I finished in Egypt school, I came to America. I told my father, I want to go to America, go to work with NASA. Why? I told my father, I want to go to the moon. And I said, Ibrahim, they went to the moon already. Now look about Mars and Marikh. My father, I'm not going to go to Marikh because, but he's the parents, your goal bigger than the moon. So really, brother, we have to encourage our kids go for a big goal, plus in the same time, the friendship with your community, the kid would adopt that. For example, Prophet Mohammed, his wife, have a suite, and the kids working together. And I go speak to the wife, and I see the kids work with her.
Always, of course.
So, not only that, her daughter, imagine all of them, they're working together. That's why if we work together, our household is strong, our community is stronger, our nation more stronger.
And you can't fix a nation until you fix your house.
Absolutely.
Right. So when you go, and I'm going to these different masjids, I go to the different masjids all the time every Friday for a different salah. And for my job, I like to see, I meet the other Muslims. Hey, how can we help you? How can we do things differently? And so when you see these different Muslims and you hear an imam who has a really good lecture, and mashallah, very positive guy, very, influential, very well-spoken person, then you go to another masjid, and it's a political speech, and it's, things that you as a Muslim, why would you say these things, right? And so I don't really go to these imams because I'm in uniform and I have to be careful with how I say things. But if you're an imam and you have the power and the knowledge, but you don't have the personality and you don't have the wherewithals of understanding what your community needs, then you're doing something wrong.
What about last Friday? What do you pray last Friday?
With you. With you. And you kept me awake. I stayed awake. Alhamdulillah.
Thank God. Alhamdulillah.
And so that means it's good, because if I'm not sleeping, that means it's good.
Alhamdulillah. Wallahi, actually, the good you mentioned the masjid and the you notice small masjid, but different colors.
Oh yeah, you got a Chinese guy, you have black people.
That you see everybody hugging each other.
Absolutely.
The key, we should not, that masjid actually is a small place, but also all the masajid is supposed to be like this. For example, Salat al-Fajr here, Salat al-Fajr, it's not sunnah. Everybody standing up after salam, everybody salam, and hugging each other. When we enter, salam and hugging each other. And we leave the masjid, same thing. And hold on, give my attention. If somebody missing 2-3 days,
you look for them.
Everybody, are you okay?
Yeah,
are you okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's supposed to be like this.
That's absolutely.
But the key, not all the masajid
Not all the masajid.
Tell us, brother, give advice, especially listening to us. I have a lot of kids here. How to be this kind of people, not only in my masjid, you're not sleeping, and after that, everybody hugging and respect each other, honor each other. How to be like this? Brother?
It's hard. It's very hard. It's
hard.
And again, this is a learned behavior. Right?
Oh,
it's a learned behavior. It's not
that's
something.
a very important point. Learn behavior.
It's not something that we just wake up with and we feel it. Because look, I was young too, and I'm still young. I'm not gonna say I was young. I'm still young. We have to understand that, like, as we grow up, right, and when we're in our 20s and our 30s, even when we're in our 15s, we think that, oh, we're unstoppable, we're untouchable. Like, alhamdulillah, we're gonna when I turn 60, then I'll get close to my deen. Right? That's when people. That's how the kids think. You know?
Yeah.
You can't say. There are those kids, mashallah, that 15, 16, 17 that take their deen seriously, and maybe they grow up and they keep taking their deen seriously, inshallah, and they get very, very small number.
Yeah.
But we know that 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, when they're in that age group, in that category, that mindset, that maturity level, khalas, when I turn 30, I'll start praying. When I turn 40, I'll get closer to my deen. And that mindset is a behavior that is not. You're not born with it. You learn that type of behavior, right? If you're not,
really?
yeah. If we're not pushing our kids to